What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Having a good Friday morning. Of course, it's the day after the night before. It's the day after another victory for Manchester United in the Premier League. What's that? The third in the row. Back-to-back away Premier League victories. Back-to-back clean sheets on the road for Manchester United as well. So we've got plenty to get into this morning. Of course, the transfer window is shut. So these morning shows are now a little bit different. We're not going to be talking too much about transfers unless something comes up, of course. But we're going to be talking about, obviously, last night's performance, Erik ten Hag, building confidence. We're going to be getting the views of Flex, Cam, KG, Marcel, their reaction from last night at the King Power Stadium as well. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. As always with the solo streams as well, you get your comments up on the screen too. We're going to make this quite interactive this morning. As you can see there, Jose's got the Owen and the porridge emoji. Leroy says, let's go. There's lots of chat about Antony. We are going to be talking about Antony this morning as well. Apologies for being a little bit late too. You know me, I like to be prompt. I like to start on time. I like to live up to the Mr. Reliable name. But you know what? There was a helicopter. There was a helicopter circling, and I thought, it will pass. And it just hasn't. It just hasn't. So if you hear a bit of background noise, that's what that is. There's not much I can do about it. You know what I mean? There's not much I can do about it. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. How's everyone feeling though after that victory last night? I've seen quite a few different responses, actually, it must be said. I was feeling quite positive. Coming out of last night because whilst the actual performance wasn't perfect and it wasn't complete, we are far, far, far off a complete performance from Manchester United. I do go into this weekend a real tough test against Arsenal. We're not going to sugarcoat it here. We're going to play that KG The Rock promo he did last night on Arsenal, which was tremendous. But make no mistake, going into that game against Arsenal at the weekend, it's going to be a real tough test. And as Erik ten Hag said, it's going to be maybe United's biggest test so far this season, even though we lost, you know, those first two games. This would probably be our biggest, toughest test of the season. I know we played Liverpool at home as well, but we're playing a side fully informed, confident, 5 wins in a row, so it's going to be a real challenge. But what I am seeing, certainly after last night, is Ten Hag building. He's building something in that side. I think he's building a solid defensive unit. I think he's building confidence. And when I say building confidence, I don't just mean in the side. I think he's building confidence certainly in myself, but I think for quite a few fans as well. He's building confidence. That is a team there last night, or parts of it certainly, specifically that defence. That is a team that I can believe in. And in comparison to last season, and maybe I'm going to be eating my words come Sunday and in a couple of months' time we're going, that's a team I can't believe in. I don't trust these players, rah, rah, rah. But that is certainly a defence that I can believe in, and I think that's real positive. I do want to get to some of these Erik ten Hag comments this morning as well, because he said some really interesting things after last night's game and spoke about how, you know, Man United aren't the finished product yet. They are building, we are developing, but there's still a way to go. So this is what Ten Hag said after the game, quote, we are raising a team, they are sticking together, they fight for each other, cooperate, and now we have to step up further. The next part was, he said, it was quite a solid performance, we defended well with 11, the free kick, the moment at the end, we have to avoid that, but we should have been 2-0 up. There was so much space on the pitch. And he also said, I'm happy with the clean sheet. The 11 on the pitch defend and attack together. You can see what we can achieve. He also said that we can be dangerous in the transition moments. There were many spaces in the second half, but did not explore them that well. We should have scored a goal. And I do kind of agree on that, it must be said, actually, when it comes to the second half. I did think we were better in the first half. I thought we looked tired. I mean, I don't know if you agree with me, guys. I did think that certainly in the second half, we looked like a side that had played the same starting 11 3 games in a row, or whatever it's been. And I'm really interested to see if he continues that for Sunday, because I just don't know if feasibly he can. I mean, that back four, I don't want to see any changes in that back four, but, you know, Casemiro probably come in. Does Ronaldo start? Because I do think Cristiano Ronaldo did well when he came on last night, actually. I think that's the sharpest he's probably looked so far. So I think that's a positive. But it'll be interesting. Let me know what you think. if he's going to make any changes. Now, when it comes to the defence, and I am going to talk about defence later on in the show as well, but Ten Hag said, quote, "The defensive skill is the base for winning games. It makes you hard to beat. We have to stick to that. I know we can be better. We were already better than at Southampton. I'm sure we will improve on that fact. Pressing also needs room for improvement." Did you think we were better, or we looked better than we did against Southampton? I would argue it was largely the same. I felt that, obviously, whilst they're two different games, I thought they were similar performances, really. Good defensive performances. I think maybe the defence actually looked stronger against Leicester, I suppose. But in terms of the overall performance, was it better than Southampton? I don't know. I don't know if it was an overall better performance. I think it was, again, quite similar. I think it was quite a similar performance, honestly, than the game that we had against Southampton, in that defensively sturdy, defensively sound. But once we managed to win the ball back, or once we defended an opportunity for them, we then get into transition, and maybe it goes to Bruno and he gives it away, or maybe it goes to Sancho or Rashford, particularly last night. He goes to Rashford and he can't hold the ball up and they win it back. Or even when we got in the final third, that pass just wasn't particularly there, And again, I don't know if Ronaldo is the option for that one. When it comes to hold-up play, Ronaldo isn't known for his hold-up play. But I do agree with what Ten Hag was saying there last night too, when he was saying the pressing also needs room for improvement, because frankly, we weren't really pressing at all. We weren't really pressing at all last night. And I assumed it was by design, and maybe it was, but that style that we were doing in pre-season is certainly different. It's been tweaked. There's no doubt about it in my mind that Ten Hag system has been tweaked slightly from pre-season. We're not seeing pressing from the front, and maybe that's due to personnel. Maybe that's because Martial isn't available. Maybe that's because of what happened in those first two games, and Ten Hag said, actually, I've got to change that a little bit. Certainly, we're not pushing out, we're not going short out rather from the back. And as I mentioned last night, several times during the match view, I don't mind it. I don't mind that we're not going short at all. Ideally, look, clearly, we would play exactly how Ten Hag wants to play, but I think David De Gea, who has had a couple of opportunities to go short at times in games, just says, no, push up, go for it. I'm fine with that. Honestly, I'm fine with it, because I'd rather, whilst we've got David De Gea, and whilst we don't have a goalkeeper that's technically proficient enough to be distributing with his feet out from the back, don't do something you're not comfortable with them. And most importantly, don't do something that's going to cost us goals. Don't do something that's going to lead to mistakes. I thought David De Gea had a good game last night. I think he made an excellent save from the James Maddison free kick, and everything else he had to do, I thought he did fine. So that style that we were playing in pre-season, certainly I believe, has been tweaked slightly. And again, I don't have an issue with it at all. But as Ten Hag mentions, when it comes to pressing, we absolutely need to work on that from the front, particularly. But I do think Ten Hag is building confidence. I do, and I do think Ten Hag is building the foundation there for a side. Obviously, there are still players to come in. That isn't even really the completed side. Last night, you've got Antony to come in. We're going to talk about him in a second. Obviously, he mentions about Casemiro and Cristiano Ronaldo, which we're going to touch on later on in the show, about them still getting up to speed. Casemiro getting up to speed with the league, getting up to speed with the squad. Cristiano Ronaldo, he did mention that he's still not really fully fit after not having that pre-season. And you can actually kind of tell that a little bit when Ronaldo comes on, it must be said, because I remember there was one point in the second half towards the end, and I think it might have been Bruno, it might have been Rashford, plays Ronaldo through, and he actually beats the fullback or beats the centre-back. And you go, oh, Ronaldo's a bit of pace. He looked like he was blowing. He looked like he was absolutely blowing last night. So I do think he's got to get his sort of fitness levels up a little bit, match fitness. Of course, you can't question the actual physical fitness of Cristiano Ronaldo, but there's definitely something building there. And as we head into that game against Arsenal at the weekend, if we'd have lost last night, and this is probably the best way to put it, if we'd have lost last night, I'd have gone into that game really concerned, because Arsenal do have a ton of momentum, and Arsenal are playing well at the moment. And if we'd have lost the bottom of the league in a similar manner, say Brentford or even Brighton, I'd have said, and then the scrutiny begins back up again, and then there's a lot of scrutiny on Manchester United anyway. But we do have some momentum that I think is going to be needed. And this is the thing, isn't it? Is if we play like we did last night and against Southampton, against how Arsenal are playing at the moment, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a challenging game, I think. But I don't know. I've just got a positive feeling, it must be said, about that Arsenal game at the weekend. I feel like Old Trafford, it's the Super Sunday main event game. First big test for Arsenal. We're going to get to KG's promo because he went. Well, not only did he do the full rock, he went Kevin Keegan as well. And he was like, I love it if we beat them. But I do think I think we got a shot. I really do. Couple of super chats already this morning. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Let me find this first one. Here you go from Dylan. Says, loving the Vartinez partnership. Is that what we're dubbing it? Is it Vartinez or is it Moran? Which one do I prefer? I like Vartinez. I can't lie. Vartinez or Moran. Vartinez is the one, definitely. And boom, can you hear that? What is it? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Zayn Miasi's mum's credit card early in the morning. Zayn Miasi said, you won because you have a good defence and your attack will have to be a lot better on Sunday. You need a striker. You know what, Zayn? I'll give you some credit there. I think that's a nice, balanced super chat from Zayn Miasi. Oh, it's the end of the ball. What's that over there? It's a pig flying. It's getting a bit cold in there. I think House froze over. Zayn Miasi. Oh, Zayn Miasi with a little bit of normality this morning. I think that's fair. We did win last night because we had the better defence, I think. Our attack will have to be a lot better on Sunday. I agree with you. I think with Arsenal as well, not only have they been, obviously, their attacking play, Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard. I don't know if Odegaard's going to be fit for the weekend, but look, they've been playing very well going forward. But also defensively, they've looked really sound as well. You've got Saliba, Gabriel, Ramsdale's a good keeper too, and our attack will have to be more fluid and better at the weekend. And we do need a striker. I agree with you, Zayn. I really do. I mean, you know what? I've actually really taken aback by Zayn Miasi there. Oh, that was good. We do need a striker. I think I wouldn't be surprised, Zayn, if in January we still are looking for one. Martial, they say that he might be back come the end of the month prior to the international break. But if that is the case, by that point, I mean, what are we now? 5 games into the season? And he'd be back by the end of the month. We're looking at like him missing... By the time he comes back, would have nearly played 8 or 9 games. And he'd have only played 45 minutes. Nearly a quarter of the season would be gone by that point, and he'd have played 45 minutes, and that's a concern going forward. Now, that's not to say he then can't go for the remainder of the season, staying injury-free and scoring goals, but, you can't be naive here and sit and ignore history. And you're right, Zayn, when it comes to Cristiano Ronaldo, is he the long-term option? No. I hope he does starting more games soon, because I do think the difference he showed when he came on last night of just having someone that was a bit of a focal point up front in that striking role was different, and I really did. I know Rashford got an assist, but I actually thought Rashford had a really tough game. I really did. I thought his hold-up play and his touches and his layoffs were really poor at times, but he got the assist, so I suppose does it matter? But long-term, against a bigger, stronger side, you're going to need that more quality in that role. And just in general, we need that striker. We need that strength and depth. I agree with you, Zayn. Game Fanatic with the super chat says, what's happened to Axel Tuanzebe? It's like his existence has just disappeared at our club. It was a strange one with Tuanzebe. He was on tour because he was involved in that first game against Liverpool, wasn't he? Or he was in the squad or something like that. And then he left the tour. They said it wasn't injury related, I believe, at the time. It might have been some sort of personal issue or something. And then there was obviously rumours and discussion he could be heading to Bournemouth or he could be heading to another move. And then it just never materialised. And I believe now, when Ten Hag was asked about him in the press conference last week, he was asked about the likes of Phil Jones, Brandon Williams, Axel Tuanzebe, and he said, well, we can't really talk about these players in terms of outgoings because they're not available. So I guess the implication was that Tuanzebe was injured, but I don't know for what injury or anything like that. So I don't really have a good answer for that one, unfortunately. game fanatic. That is a bit of an odd one. So yes, let me know how you're feeling about Erik ten Hag and what he's building. Let's get some reaction from the game last night against Leicester. Let's go to Flex and get his view outside the King Power Stadium after United's 1-0 victory against Leicester in the Premier League.
Another big win, man. Another morale boosting win. Another confidence boosting win. Another steady win. Was it perfect? No. Were there aspects that we need to improve on? Yes. Was there solidity? Yes. And is that confidence growing? Yes. Let's start with the positives, man. Sancho gets another goal, which is fantastic. That's good to see for him. And I'm starting to see the partnerships develop across the back line. They just look so in tune with each other. They're all pushing each other. They're all celebrating each other's wins, celebrating each other's tackles, and just looking like a real unit. We wasn't at our free flowing blessed going forward. I understand that. But what I'm starting to see from this team is organisation, is structure. And that's something to build upon, especially at the back. Malacia, he didn't actually have his best game for me, Malacia, on the ball. But again, he's there. He's intense. He wants to win the ball. He wants to nip in and be aggressive and engage his opposite number. Diogo Dalot for me today. Arguably man of the match for me, along with Scott McTominay, see you later, along with McTominay, who was really good today. But Dalot's game is just going up and up and up a level. His composure on the ball is good. He's good in the tackle. He initiates the move that actually leads to the goal as well. And that decision making that he makes of knowing when to kind of nip in and get the ball, or just let the player get it and make sure they can't turn. He's done a real good job on keeping Harvey Barnes quiet, a player who usually gives us a lot of problems today. It helped in the first half that I think Leicester was so poor on the ball. They were always going to get better in the second half, but that comes from us as well. You know, we've contributed to them playing in that way. We've contributed to them getting frustrated and giving balls away and being so calm at the back. My guy, the Rolls Royce Varane, he's Rolls Roycing right now. He is Rolls Roycing right now because what he's doing is just allowing Martinez to go and be aggressive and go and try and win things, even if he doesn't win the header. And he's just coming around and wrap around and just sorting everything out. A couple of times Martinez got himself into trouble. Who was there with interceptions? Who was there to calm things down, make sure Jamie Vardy's not going to get in there? Varane.
So there you go, there's the viewer. Flex, he's got to get in that Varane. Got to get in that Varane bit, hasn't he? That's his guy, it's his Rolls Royce. In fairness, look, Raphael Varane, I thought was excellent last night. I really thought he was really good. And that entire back four, I spoke a lot recently about balance and what Antony brings. And we're going to move on to Antony now, but I spoke about how much balance Antony brings to this Manchester United side. I do look at that back four and it's just Thanos settings. It's perfectly balanced. It really is. You've got someone like Martinez who is so feisty, ferocious, aggressive. You know, when the ball comes towards him or the attacker goes towards him, he's out to meet him. And Varane's the guy to drop back. Varane is the clean-up guy. He is the sweep-up guy. And they complement each other so well. And again, that back four last night, they're celebrating getting goal kicks. They're celebrating tackles. They're celebrating clean sheets. There was a real great picture on social media of just the back four or back five, including David De Gea hugging it out after the game. And just the victory meant one thing, and the clean sheet was it meant so much to them. It was just as good as the victory to them. That's how desperately they wanted it, and we need that. As I mentioned before, we used to take the mick, didn't we? We used to mock passion and desire under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that was the nicknames, right, for Fred and McTominay. But that is real passion. That is real desire to win, to keep clean sheets, and it spreads via osmosis throughout the entire team. And not just the team, it spreads via the fans. And if anything, the fans have always had passion. They've always had desire, and it's just nice to see, isn't it? It's nice to see it being reflected in certain players on the pitch as well, along with quality. It's one thing to have sort of passion and to be up for it, but then to see it matched by a certain standard of quality is really what you want to see. So I thought it was absolutely brilliant, and I thought Varane was excellent and Martinez was excellent. And that entire back four I thought was really good last night. Let's talk about Antony. Of course, Erik ten Hag had some comments about Antony. He was officially announced as a Manchester United player yesterday. €95 million deal with €5 million in add-ons. What's that? 85, I think it is. £85.4 million. The third most expensive Manchester United player. in history, and obviously he wasn't available last night, wasn't available for selection, but has been officially registered. He has been registered for the game against Arsenal, so chances are he will be involved in the squad. Whether or not he starts is going to be another question. But Erik ten Hag, after the game, was asked about Antony, asked about the qualities that he brings to the squad, asked about if he's going to be involved at the weekend. So ten Hag, when talking about Antony and being now officially a Manchester United player, this is what ten Hag said, quote, "Of course I am really excited. A really good signing. He will bring temperament, creativity, fighting spirit, and we need quality in numbers in the offensive department." Which, how many times has Erik ten Hag said that in this transfer window? I mean, talk about hammering home points. He's mentioned it near enough in every single press conference. We need numbers. We need numbers in those attacking areas. It's the area in which the player's going to get the most fatigue because we expect so much and the demands are so high. Now, you could argue the demands certainly weren't high against Leicester last night in the offensive areas because I didn't see a lot of pressing, but I did see Marcus Rashford go down with cramp. I did see at times those players look tired. And as he mentions, because of that fixture congestion, which we're now really getting into. Now we're getting into the real meat and potatoes of this season, because we're getting to the point now where it is 2-3 games a week. Now it is Thursday, Sunday, as this Europa League campaign begins, and the fixture congestion really builds up because of the World Cup, and it's going to continue. So we need those numbers. We need those numbers in those offensive departments. There's going to be injuries, there's going to be suspensions, and there's going to be drops off in form, right? We don't want to be playing bad players or players that aren't playing well too. So we do need players in those offensive areas, and certainly Antony is going to be one of them. Now, when asked if Antony will play against Arsenal on Sunday, ten Hag said, quote, "We will see for Sunday." He did mention that I believe yesterday he did some individual training. Now, I think they'll probably have a day off. They might not have a day off actually today. It might be a case of he said they'll have 2 sessions between now and Sunday. So it might be sort of a light training session today. We'll have to wait and see. But he did say that, again, he had individual training yesterday. There's going to be a couple of sessions between now and the game at the weekend. So there is a possibility that Antony will be involved. And in terms of that game against Arsenal at the weekend, he said, quote, "That is a real test for us. We are looking forward to it. We have to be good. We know that. And it is a good test to see where we are." Let me know in the chat, do you think Antony's going to start against Arsenal at the weekend? I mean, it's difficult to judge because, look, Erik ten Hag's only been the Manchester United manager for, a couple of months at this point, and we're not totally familiar with how his team selection. But if anything is to go by, I would say no. I would say he probably starts on the bench. I look at what he did with Casemiro, in that he's betting him into the squad, and arguably, he's more ready than maybe say an Antony. So I think he'll be introduced. A lot of you saying no. Look, here we go. Tank says no. Yusuf says no. Ramirez says no. Keegan says he won't start. Simon says 50-50. All Elite is saying no, he won't start. VK says, which Antony? How many have we got at this point? 3? Wayne says no, he'll be slowly introduced. So a lot of people saying no, that he won't start. And I do tend to agree with that. I think that's... I just don't know if Erik ten Hag's going to name an unchanged starting 11 again for the 4th game in a row. I'd be really surprised. I was surprised he did it against Leicester. And look, I'm not complaining. We won the game, so it's the right move. The team selection's justified. But we did look tired, particularly earlier on in the game than probably we would usually. Like around 60 minutes, we looked leggy. So I do think he makes changes. What those changes are, I don't know if Ronaldo starts again. I think he might stick with that front 3 because he'll want mobility. But if that is the case, Rashford's got to be a lot better in his hold-up game. But then again, I don't think I can't see him throwing Antony in that quickly, unless he wants to sort of put a bit of a surprise maybe on Mikel Arteta. Maybe he might do that. Maybe he might look at it from the other thing of, let's just have Antony for 60 minutes and see what he can do. And it's a bit of a curveball towards Arsenal. But I think those changes... I mean, before last night, I thought Casemiro was going to start against Leicester. He didn't. And coming out of that game, I would want Casemiro in that side, and he will be long-term, but I also think McTominay is justified to start. I know that when you bring up McTominay, and we've got some stats about McTominay in a second, but you get criticised because McTominay is a scapegoat and this, that, and the other. But he was excellent last night. You can't say Scott McTominay wasn't good last night. He was. I thought he was very good. I thought he played well against Southampton, and I also thought he played well against Leicester. I thought there was a real possibility for him to be man of the match. He broke up the play really well, played it simple, and again, I think Ten Hag might look at that starting 11 and say, "Oh, do I really want to change parts of that?" You know, the logical, I suppose, switches would be Ronaldo starts and Casemiro starts, but I'm also not sure I really want to change the starting 11 that is performing, that is doing things. It is difficult. It's a really difficult one for Erik ten Hag. He's got some big decisions to make. Now, you know, after the Arsenal game, I think Antony, that's his spot. Right-hand side, Antony Elanga comes out the side. No doubt about it whatsoever. But it's a tough one. I mean, what do you think? Do you think he names an unchanged starting 11 once again? It's difficult to say. Couple of super chats here. Be sure to smash a like on the like button, by the way, guys. We've got over 1,500 people watching. We've got, how many likes have we got? I always like to try and break like records for individual streams, you know. So we're on 233 likes. We can get to 500 and then anything's possible. I think when we did the Liverpool, the morning stream after the Liverpool game, which is an individual stream, I think we got to like 750 in the hour. It was amazing. I believe in you. I believe in you. We can do this. We can do this together. Let's find these super chats as well. Keegan, here we go. Keegan says, Rashford should learn to use his head. Man is scared to challenge in the air. Big up the free seats. I can't wait for Sunday. It's a proper test. Big up yourself, Keegan. Appreciate the super chat. Points last night felt like a bit of a football intelligent aspect, you know, especially in that number 9. And I think Rashford does probably want to play in that number 9. He probably sees himself being able to play there. But if you're going to be a number 9, especially in today's age, you've got to be able to hold up the ball. You've got to be, Ten Hag said it after the Southampton game, I want my strikers to be a point. I want my wingers to be able to play off of them. And if your flicks or if your hold-up play isn't working, then you're not doing your job properly. You're just not. And Rashford has to improve that 100%. Speaking of Antony's, we've got another Antony here. Says, United players fans over-celebrating from a W over a team with 1 point. Wait till Varane is injured and Maguire is back in. Wow. Antony, you sound like you're a lot of fun at parties. You really do. I think, look, there's a lot of discussion recently, isn't there? Talking about, you know, celebration police and people shouldn't be celebrating. I saw Arsenal got a lot of stick from Richard Keys, who someone said looks like Giant Hasbulla, which I thought was incredible. I think that's the most hilarious thing I've ever heard in my life. The whole like over celebrating thing or whatever, or you celebrate and you beat bottom of the league, I think it goes to show just how bad we have been over the last 12, 18 months. You're allowed. This might be breaking news to some people. You're allowed to celebrate a win. What are we going to get back to? Like after, you know, back in the day where they used to score goals and they used to just shake hands and walk back and then do kickoff again. You're allowed to celebrate. Like it's passion. It's, you know, it's energy. Who doesn't love seeing their team win? We're also, you know, this is the hypocrisy of it all as well. They're the same people that are saying, look at that, you know, with Dallo or Martinez. That's the energy. That's what you want to see. That's a winner right there. That's a winner. You talk about people going, oh, he's a winner. He's a leader. This, that, and the other. And then when they win, they criticize them for winning and go, look at them celebrating. Oh, you only won this. And I understand, like, you don't want to over-celebrate some games because it's a long season. But when you've been rubbish and when you feel like you're getting better and you're improving, you're allowed to celebrate winning a game. You know, it's just, I don't get that. I really don't. They're trying to take the passion out of the game, that kind of thing. I think it's nuts. Speaking of taking passion out of the game, and speaking of passion, there is one person that is probably more passionate than the rest of us, right? Or as I get this super chat, Antony says, I'm an Arsenal fan, so being sarcastic because of the hypocrisy. I got the drift. You might be an Arsenal fan, Antony. Antony, the Arsenal fan. That's what you are. No, I appreciate the contribution, and as you mentioned, I agree with you. I think there is a lot of hypocrisy about the over-celebrating and all that kind of stuff. Enjoy football. You know what I mean? enjoy watching football. And players, if they've won a game, let them celebrate, you know. And because sometimes as well, and legitimately, I mean this, even if, so when Arsenal beat, was it Fulham the other day, and they were celebrating and people going crazy, or Richard Keys said, oh, look at them celebrating, beating a newly promoted side. It's about building momentum, and it's about building a collective and a team spirit. If that is what it takes to get the team closer together, bond them together, and build up this atmosphere, this feeling that something is happening or that you're winning games, do it. It's really, Ollie Solskjaer, it's fine margins in football. And sometimes it is up there. Sometimes it is the mental side of things. So celebrate. Do what you want. You know what I mean? Now, when it comes to Arsenal fans saying we're going to win the league, like, we're going to win the league because it's been, what? They've won 5 games. That is silly. Or I saw some people when they say, I tell you what, can Arsenal go unbeaten the entire season again? Is it going to be another invincible season? No. No. And I think even most rational Arsenal fans would say no, because they haven't really played any big proper side yet. The big games are still to come. Now, speaking of that Arsenal game, speaking of passion, that describes one person to a T, and that is KG. Now, last night, if you didn't see it on KG's fan view, it's one of the best ones he's ever done, because I asked KG if he had a message for Arsenal at the weekend, and he embraced the great one, the people's champion, The Rock. Take a look.
I would go McTominay. I'd put in, because Rashford's injured, so it has to be Sancho out on the left, and then Starboy, give it to him. It's Old Trafford, under the lights, Ronaldo up front, and Ronaldo loves a goal against Arsenal.
Ronaldo up front, obviously came on today. Yeah. Actually, I thought did pretty well.
Yeah.
You said I'm surprised he's not starting.
Yeah.
Does he finally start at the weekend?
He needs to start. The only thing is, he kind of thrived off that relationship that he built with Bruno and Rashford. He's getting the ball and it was just goal. It was just action. Like I do love Sancho. It's the fact that he wants to stop, cut in. He don't want to just go. He don't want to just like. You want to see him really commit, guys, and just be a problem. I want to see guys on yellow cards thinking, bloody hell, it's him again. And that's the one thing you can say is, yes, he's dangerous, but he doesn't commit you. And then I'll defend, like, as a defender, yeah, let's go. I know you're going to slow it down. Someone should come over and help me out. We could deal with this. Against raw pace, again, I saw Eddie Nketiah. The guy's quick, and he's going to run at you. I'm not saying that Nketiah's better. I'm just saying that danger, man, where you're going to move. And Man United, we need to play fast. We're not like a good possession team yet. And that's coming. That's going to build.
Finally, then, what's your message for Arsenal at the weekend?
Listen, I'm telling you right now, Arsenal, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in Old Trafford settings. That's our home, bruv. And you, man, are going to be in the mud. I hope. Yeah? Yeah, it's Arsenal. I'm not afraid. Thank you. I like that. If you smell what Ten Hag is cooking.
Yeah. That's what he's bringing. This isn't Carlo Ancelotti. That's the great one, okay? The great one. Mr. KG. Literally, when we were recording that as well, and he took the microphone off me, I was like Ricky Bobby in Talladega Nights. I didn't know what to do with my hands, so I just had to sort of stand there like this and sort of stare at the camera. It was KG, man. You need people like KG in your life. You do. You need them. You need people like KG in your life. They make life worth living. Love KG, honestly. So good. Speaking of the Arsenal game as well, we just discussed, didn't we, there previously, is Casemiro going to be involved? Is Casemiro going to start? And Ten Hag was asked about Casemiro and Cristiano Ronaldo. Of course, they both started on the bench last night against Leicester. And this is what Ten Hag had to say about them both. Ten Hag said, quote, once Casemiro and Ronnie, he's on nickname terms, Ronnie get fitter and fitter, we need not only a team but a squad. He also spoke about Casemiro saying he has to get used to a different league. He has achieved everything possible and now has to adapt to his new teammates. When it comes to Ronaldo being on the bench, he said, quote, it is really early in the season. We have a squad more than a starting 11. And again, I know that I'm actually quite interested to see, because I did notice this in some of the discussion after the game last night, and actually in these sort of early comments this morning, that some people didn't think Ronaldo had the best game when he came on last night. And I actually thought Ronaldo looked fairly sharp when he came on. I thought, again, he offered us something different. I did think he looked threatening. I think you saw that link up between him and Bruno again. I think also as well, there were several points in the game where we'd get into wide areas and we'd maybe sometimes revert to type a little bit where we're thinking about getting across it in the box, but particularly with Rashford and maybe, Sancho on the other side, there isn't a ton of height in the box, so those crosses weren't really going to anyone. So to actually have somewhat of a focal point in the box did look a bit more threatening, it must be said. So I don't think, as I mentioned, Ronaldo starts against Arsenal because I do think he'll want Ten Hag to maintain that fluidity in the front three. And in fairness to those that said, before, the only reason that Ronaldo isn't starting with this Martial absence is just because he's not fit or he's not up to pace yet. He didn't have a pre-season. He only played 45 minutes against Rayo Vallecano. He then came on against Brighton for 30 minutes. Brentford, of course, he did play that game, but you could argue that maybe he didn't look too sharp in that game, which would probably be harsh because everyone was just rubbish in that game, absolutely awful. So there could be a situation where he's just not up to pace right now. And last night, which I did think was an improved performance in his cameo from him, maybe it's just a case of he's got to get back up to fitness. And I am glad now that the window is shut, that transfer saga is over. But I can't sit here and lie and say I don't expect it to rumble on, because even though the window is shut, you just know, don't you, that the gap between the now and the January transfer window is actually shorter than it usually is, because we've got games until, was it the beginning of November, end of October now. I think there's something like 12, 13 games between now and then. So even though Ronaldo wanted to leave and George Mendes was trying to maneuver that way out of the club, they might have just settled on, actually, you know what? Yeah, it's annoying. Yeah, we're going to be sitting on the bench. Yes, it's going to be rotation Ronaldo going forward for the next couple of months, but January isn't that far away. There's the World Cup. If you have a good World Cup as well, people will be interested in you then. Possibly people's financial situations might have changed by that point as well. You don't have to wait too long to get a move. So I don't honestly expect this Ronaldo transfer saga to really stop. I expect it just to bubble. My hope is that, as Erik ten Hag said in his press conference, that he can adapt to Ronaldo and he does buy in. And that's not to say that he's sitting there going, oh, no, I can't do this or I won't do this or anything like that. I believe he can buy in. And also as well, as I said, this isn't the exact same style of football we were playing in pre-season. Erik ten Hag has clearly shown himself to be open to tweaking his system or changing his system to get results, to get victories, and dependent on what players he has at his disposal. So I think it's got to be a case of everyone meeting everyone halfway. I think Erik ten Hag might have to look at Ronaldo and say, what can he do? We know he can score goals. He will still score goals. But maybe he can't do everything I want my striker to do. But I've adapted some aspects of my system for the players that I have, and it's proven dividends at the moment. So why wouldn't I continue that with someone like Cristiano Ronaldo? So I hope, as I mentioned, that this Ronaldo saga ends for now, but I think it's going to bubble. I really do. Tabas Lowe says, over 1,400 watching, only 351 likes. Guys, smash that like button. Yes, we can get to 500. We can do it. We're only 150 away, so we can get to 500 likes. My favourite account's back, that being Kevin Gary Shiny Head. It's just a great account. I know KG doesn't like it, but Kevin Gary Shiny Head, he's actually a massive supporter of the channel as well, and also he's a member of the UV Members Club. You can join the UV Members Club by clicking the link in the video description. Is it the pinned comment in the live chat? No, it's not. It's the Football Content Awards. We'll get to that in a second. But yes, you can join the UV Members Club by clicking the link in the video description. You get your badges, you get your emojis, and you get your exclusive members-only content. You get access to the exclusive members-only series that is UV Raw, which is a behind-the-scenes look at the day-to-day operations at United View. We were filming some stuff last night, some backstage stuff prior to the match view. I got KG arriving late and trying to sort out his sound desk, or his virtual sound desk, and talking about him forgetting his keys. It's excellent stuff. And also, if you enjoy sort of the vlogging aspect, and I say vlogging, it's not edited as well, it's raw, that's the title. You see Flex on his travels to the game, so obviously we'll see a load of footage of the guys, Flex and Josh, at the King Power Stadium last night. It's good stuff. It really is good stuff. So you get access of that if you're a member of the UV Members Club. And as I mentioned, you get your badges, you get your emojis, such as the Flex emoji, the KG emoji, Marcel's porridge emoji, the Owen emojis in there as well. More emojis coming, and as I mentioned, your badges do change the longer you're a member. I think people at the moment are on blue badges that have been a member for 3 months. I'm not sure what they go up to. I know they do change still. And Michael's a member. He says, Owen, can you give me a shout out? Just got a new job. Congratulations, Michael. That's what we like to hear. A bit of good news on a Friday morning. Excellent. Congratulations, Michael. Everyone in the chat, I'm sure, will pass on their congratulations as well. What are we moving on to next? Yes, we're going to talk about defenders, actually. We're going to talk about defenders and the relationship that back four has. But before we do, let's get some more reaction from the Leicester game last night. And I think it's time, folks. You know, I'm getting cravings. You know, I know it's early and I should probably not indulge myself. But as we head into the game at the weekend, I'm getting the sweats because I need a bit of hopium. And there is one person you go to when you need some hopium, and that is Mr. Optimistic himself, Marcel. Let's see what he thought of the game last night.
You're right, it wasn't perfect, but building slowly is a perfect way to put it. I mean, right now, it's just about building form, consistency. That back four is very consistent right now. Again, you know, in that second half, the low, everyone high-fiving each other. It means something to them putting these blocks in. It means something to these players right now, Flex. I mean, the first 10 minutes or so, a bit scrappy. The whole first half for me, even though Sancho finishes, it's a bit scrappy end-to-end. I mean, we reduced them just to the to the Barnes effort. That was about it. But
Say John Barnes,
yeah, I was going to say John Barnes, I know.
But when did he play?
But if you just reduce them to the Barnes effort, and Sancho had 2 chances on goal, I think he should take the touch again. You know, against Liverpool, he takes the touch in the box for the second chance, and then he's composed and he buries, but high level composure for the first finish. Bruno plays well, you know, secondary assist in that game as well, and he's looking like a captain now. He's really spurring us on for performances here. I mean, at times, very, very diligent with his work, good pressing, good. Rashford was a bit of an issue though. I would say Rashford was a bit of an issue.
What was an issue about his performance there?
He can't lead the line. He doesn't look like a focal point 9.
Got assist for the goal?
Yeah, he did.
I know what you're saying, 100%.
Yeah, like I need someone to be more of a presence up front. He's not winning a lot of headers, and he's not being enough of a presence up front. He's losing the ball a lot. Yes, he was getting pulled and dragged, but you know players like Evans are going to do that kind of stuff. They're seasoned pros. So a bit difficult. And then even on the left wing, I don't want to complain too much. It's a win, Flex.
Yeah. But it's important to talk about what happened.
Yeah, Sancho as well just needs to break lines a lot more. He needs to drive forward. Hasn't got that blistering pace. A lot of times we're clearing the ball beyond the fullbacks, and you need to get beyond there. Fight for the ball, you know. A bit of a Vardy-esque tenacity, tenacious. Mane, those kind of players. But it was good today. It was very, very good today. I'm happy for the win.
I tell you what, I love Marcel. I was just looking at the chat, and who said I love the porridge thing? I love that it's Marcel's porridge. You know what I mean? People are putting their porridge emojis in. Matibu says that Lil Yo-Yo's put his porridge emojis in. It's great, isn't it? All Elite says Quaker settings. I love the fact that Marcel's porridge is a thing. Like, it's brilliant. There's an account that's Marcel's porridge as well. Hopium strong in him. It really is. But let's talk about the defence. There was actually a real great post between Rafael Varane and Lisandro Martinez last night. And it just goes to show the connection that these guys have together. Because Rafael Varane put up an Instagram post after the game and said, quote, "Another step in the right direction, bringing 3 points back to Manchester. Next game is coming very soon." And Lisandro Martinez responded to his centre-back partner saying, quote, "What a pleasure to play by your side, brother." And I went, even off the pitch, even in the virtual form, even on social media, that relationship is building. And that's what we need. And what is wild about that centre-back partnership between Varane, between Lisandro Martinez, is that, and I don't mean to be like, oh, Harry Maguire, you're rubbish, rah, rah, rah. But like, every time Harry Maguire had a centre-back partner, whether it was Lindelof or whether it was Varane last season, there'd be like some iffy performances and we'd go, well, that centre-back partnership, it needs to grow. That centre-back partnership, that needs to blossom. That centre-back partnership is going to take time to get to know each other and to find the right balance between them both. Varane and Martinez have been centre-back partners for 3 games. They've already got an established relationship. They've only conceded 1 goal in the last 3 games, 2 clean sheets. They complement each other so well. And maybe it just is, call me crazy here, Maybe it just is two quality centre-back partners playing alongside each other. That's it. And they understand it. They're top quality level centre-backs. And as I said, they complement each other just so well. They really do. I think they complement each other perfectly. And it just works. I mean, some of the stats we have on Varane from the game last night, who again I thought was absolutely brilliant. He 100% of tackles won. Every tackle he had, he won. 100% of ground duels won. 87% pass accuracy, 62 touches, 53 passes, 5 long balls, 3 out of 4 aerial duels won, and 3 clearances. But look at those first two stats. 100% of tackles won. 100% of ground duels won. Every single time the ball was there to be won on the ground and he put a tackle in, he won the ball. He won the ball. And that's elite level stuff. And he is an elite level centre-back. Going in pre-season, heading into this season, we thought, and I said it too, that Varane was possibly 4th choice centre-back. Can you imagine? Shame on me. Shame on all of us that thought that. And maybe he was, but clearly Ten Hag has said it a couple of times that he was being built up, which is smart because we know his injury record and he's not out of the woods yet. There is a chance that he plays against Arsenal when he gets hurt. Or there is a chance, actually. My big concern with Varane is international duty, because a lot of the time Varane goes on international duty with France and he gets injured. So come the end of the month, if Varane is still fit and he goes on international duty with France, I'm watching it. I'm watching him come back and make sure that he's fit. But that's the Champions League Varane that we were really looking for, isn't it? That's the Champions League Varane that Flex was talking about. That's the Rolls Royce. And as I mentioned, I think him and Martinez, it's a perfect partnership at the moment. They complement each other so well. But I do also want to shout out Diogo Dalot too, because I mentioned this in my fan view after the game last night. Diogo Dalot, I think, has been steadily improving. I mean, that right-back spot's his. He absolutely barged Wan-Bissaka out of it under Ralph, made that right-back spot his own. I mean, last summer there was discussions about him possibly going to Dortmund or at least on loan somewhere. But as I mentioned, he's made that right-back spot his own, and he did okay under Ralph, as well as anyone could do in that real poor side last season. But particularly in the last 2 games, I think Diogo Dalot, again, has been another contender for man of the match. I thought he was absolutely excellent. He got booked really early against Leicester last night. And you then worry, you think, he's a younger player, Premier League, fast-paced. Harvey Barnes is going up against him, or as Marcel would say, John Barnes. John Barnes going up against him. Harvey Barnes going up against him. You're thinking, just don't get the red card. Nothing silly. And he was measured. He won, he won the majority of his tackles, the majority of his duels, and he does look like a real promising player at right back. Is he as good as some other right backs in the league? I don't know, honest, because he's still very young. How old is he? 22, 23? There's still development for there. And I remember when Jose Mourinho bought him, and he said that this guy's going to be the next big right back in world football. And since then, we've kind of laughed at that and gone, okay, Jose. And I'm not saying that Dalot's going to become that, but I think he's been really impressive. Now, I would have hoped that we would have signed a backup right back or a right back to compete with him, because my concern is that he is just so far ahead of our other right back, Wan-Bissaka, that the temptation is going to be there for Ten Hag to play him in every game, even Europa League games, and we don't want him to get burnt out, which I hope he doesn't either. But I thought, again, he was excellent. Some stats we have for Dalot from last night as well. 100% of aerial duels won. 78 touches, 4 tackles won, 4 out of 7 long balls completed, 1 clearance, 1 interception. I thought he was excellent. And I did see people talking about Dalot after the Southampton game, saying that possibly he didn't get enough credit for his performance against Southampton. But make no mistake, I'm making sure he gets credit after that performance against Leicester last night. I thought he was really, really good. Really good. Ed T says, only 440-ish likes. Get them up or else. Can you hear it? Can you feel it? Can you smell it? Can you hear the Jaws music starting? The dun 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 dun. If you say his name 3 times, he'll appear. I've sort of merged several films there. I've merged Beetlejuice and Jaws, but if you don't get the likes, that feeling will appear. It is true. He's like a ghost. So that's the defence. I do want to get to Cam's view as well, because it really brings us in nicely, and then we can finish up by talking about Scott McTominay again. Cam highlighted the performance of Scott McTominay last night, so I want to talk about McTominay. So let's get Cam's view, and then we'll talk about McTominay and wrap things up.
I mean, focus on the first half. As a result, got a goal, clean sheet, really important. Kept building the momentum. Same back four, same team for the start of the game as well. Really important. But then we look at the first half. Everything we spoke about in tactical view, the principles. We moved the ball so much better in that first half than we've seen all of last season and the season before that. That's the big thing. Right the way through this season, even the Brighton game, the Brentford game, when we didn't do so well, we moved the ball better when we had it. 1 and 2 touch passing all the time. Really slick. Really nice using the width of the pitch, sort of playing through the lines as well at times. And today we kept that up, moved the ball really well the entire game. Well, the entire first half. Yeah, but again, we spoke about in the tactical view the minimum width thing. We spoke about how that gives a lot of players centrally ready to recover the ball, and we saw first half what that does. It means you can sustain your attacks. You can keep going when the opposition do win it back. You get across and they head it out. You've got a player right there, so you keep the attacks going. And we saw that momentum building so much in the first half, and that was really important for us. It's one of Ten Hag's principles, but it worked so well. And the other advantage of it as well is that for players like Scott McTominay, you know where players are going to be. There's never going to be a sort of long pass you're going to have to do. There's always players close to you.
It's given McTominay like easy decisions to make on the ball, and he just seems to be taking them. That's 2 games on the bounce there. To be fair to McTominay, Eric Ten Hag's gone with him again. I heard a lot of fans when speaking to him on the way in. Yeah, I know, but McTominay's starting. No, we need to be fair to the kid. You can criticise when you criticise, but he's doing well. He's done well, and he's done well again tonight, Scott McTominay.
Yeah, really well. I mean, I saw some of the comments in the previous stuff I've done. Every time I praise McTominay, you get roasted, don't you? You get ripped for praising him. But he's got his uses. He's good on second balls. We saw that again. Yeah. We don't play short from goal kicks anymore. We've sacked that off. But every time we play it long into the area where McTominay is. So even if we don't win the first ball, he's there for the second ball. He's really important to the way we play in terms of second balls in particular. But when you give him easy decisions to make, he can do it. And look, people might see today and be like, you know what, Casemiro's giving the ball away a lot. He's not there yet. Casemiro is a better ball player than McTominay will ever be. He can get there. But you can see what McTominay is doing. So just give him confidence. When Casemiro has time, he can do that much better than McTominay can. So if McTominay can do it, he can do it. So don't worry about Casemiro if people are worried. Don't be stressed about that. McTominay's doing a decent job at the minute, and Casemiro can be fed.
So there you go, the views from Cam there, specifically about Scott McTominay. And again, I thought McTominay was really good last night. And again, I know you talk about McTominay and it leads to people going, oh, he's terrible, he's rubbish, why are you trying to protect him, this, that and the other. Just some stats. And this was just Scott McTominay's first half against Leicester last night. 100% of long balls completed, 100% of tackles won, 82% pass accuracy, 33 touches, 5 final third passes, 3 ground duels won, 1 key pass, 1 interception, 1 clearance. Again, I thought he played very well, and that's not to say that McTominay hasn't been bad before, because he's been awful before. I remember those particularly that first game against Brighton at Old Trafford. He was rubbish. He was absolutely awful. He made the least amount of successful passes on the pitch. David De Gea made more passes than him on the pitch. That doesn't excuse his past bad performances, but if you watched the game last night, I thought he played well. And I think against Southampton, he played well. Now, does that mean that, I don't know why we bought Casemiro because we've got Scott McTominay? No, it doesn't, clearly. But I do think if players play well, you should praise them for playing well. He played well last night. And again, does that mean he's going to start on Sunday against Arsenal? I don't know. I think this is a good point here. DK, this is kind of the point I'm trying to sort of allude to here is McTominay yesterday looked like he can be coached. Him being decent is a good problem having Casemiro. And I think that's the same kind of conclusion that I came to last night. Casemiro clearly is light years ahead of Scott McTominay. Casemiro has won everything. He is a far better football player than Scott McTominay. He's far better at that role and that job than Scott McTominay. And going forward, Casemiro should 100%, 1 billion% be above Scott McTominay in that position. But if Eric Ten Hag can get those kind of performances out of Scott McTominay, what does he keep saying? We need squad depth. We need players. And if we can get to a point with McTominay he did what he did last night, which is he's technically not very good. He's technically not very good on the ball. But if you're getting him just to break up the play, win the ball, release it, that's fine. And also, he brings height into a team that doesn't have a lot of height at the moment. I thought what he did particularly well against Southampton as well, especially when Southampton were attacking, he actually dropped back into the back 4 and turned it into a back 5. And then we actually had 3 centre-backs. We had Varane, Martinez and McTominay. And McTominay does play there for Scotland. So he is useful. This is my point. I think sometimes, for whatever reason, social media has got to the point where McTominay is just completely awful. He shouldn't be a footballer. And even when he has a good game, it's no, I don't know what's going on. The coaches have selected him. Every single coach that has been there during McTominay's tenure has picked him. It's Jose brought him in. Then you had Ollie, obviously picked him for ages. Ralph picked him, and now Eric's picking him as well. Going forward, is he going to be Eric's first choice? Clearly not. Casemiro is going to be his first choice, and Casemiro should be. But this idea that McTominay is terrible or awful, I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. I think also as well, as DK mentioned too, I think there is proof there that he can be coached, and if Ten Hag can get those kind of performances out of McTominay, then I think that really is a real positive. I really do. Now, in fairness, some people like Cully here says it's picked due to a lack of options, and maybe that was the case, right? Maybe they're certainly under Solskjaer, you could absolutely say that, and Ranić, because he didn't bring anyone in. But there could have been a situation where there was no one else, so he had to pick McTominay, and that's fair. That's fair, I guess too. But I'm not totally, completely on board with he's terrible, he's rubbish. Again, I thought he played well last night. So be sure to smash a like. We've got 4 likes to go. 4 likes to go until we get to 500. Look at that. We can do it. We can do it. There's no prize, but we can do it. We can get to 500 likes as well. And also, be sure to nominate us for the Football Content Awards, if you would like to, of course. The links for all of the categories, there's 2 different ways to do it. You can go on Instagram, tag us in the specific Instagram post for the categories. You can just tag us there at United View TV. It nominates us there. Or you can go to the websites to nominate us in any category you see fit, which is footballcontentawards.com/voting. That's footballcontentawards.com/voting. If we can be nominated, that would be amazing. That would be a huge achievement in itself. I mean, we've only been around a year. We are a baby, and the way this community has grown and developed in the last year is actually mind-blowing for me. As someone that's been with the channel just after they got started, it's insane. It really is. It's the best, and I don't just say this because I'm chatting to you guys now. I truly, honestly, legitimately mean it. This community, for me, is the best community on YouTube. It's just, it's fun. I have, honestly, I'm well off track here, but I have so much fun doing these shows or chatting with you guys, interacting with you guys, talking about Manchester United when it's good, when it's bad, when we're rubbish, when we're losing, when we're winning, whatever. It's just fun. It's just so much fun, and honestly, I really do. I really appreciate all of the support you guys show the channel. It's fantastic. It really is. Anyway, guys, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. What else do we have coming up in the next couple of days? Well, we're getting really close to match day 2, so there's going to be plenty of content coming into that Arsenal game at the weekend, and fingers crossed we can get another victory. I'm out of here. Have a good one, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Peace.